Hello and welcome back to Coffee on Korriban. Today we're going to do our little analysis video of Ahsoka Episode 3. First off, right off the bat, what was your rating?
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to give it a 6.
A 6, that's...
And that's still, that's
and you
still
gave
pretty
it, what,
good.
a 9 for the first
Yes.
2 episodes? Oh.
I can explain.
Okay, please do.
I feel that every show has to have some kind of an episode after the bigger ones to kind of...
Like a filler.
A filler.
Okay,
yeah,
alright.
I don't want to call it
see
a filler because there were things in there that I thought were pretty cool, which
Sure.
is why I gave it a 6 and not a 5.
Okay.
But-
So this was somewhat filler to you, maybe nothing too important, nothing stand out.
Yeah, I feel like to others who already don't like it, this might be another.
Yes, and I'll touch on that in a second. I will give it a 6.5 out of 10, but I'm already thinking of things that I want to go back and rewatch and analyze a little bit further. It would be further that time. Analyze a little bit further to gain a better appreciation of it. So that number might rise in the next few viewings.
Yeah.
Just a couple things that caught me off guard. I wasn't really prepared for, and then the more that I thought about them, some of those made sense. We'll talk about that a little bit as we get into this. But as you were saying, people are going to hate this episode. And we already kind of talked in the live stream on Monday that people that are already disliking this show or anything Disney are going to only look for the things to not agree with. And there's nothing that can help that.
Yeah.
You can give them a perfect product, they're going to complain about it. Andor was an example of that. But I think this episode gives a lot of fodder to those people that are going to complain about all those stuff. So what were some of those things that stood out to you as bad or potentially controversial? Anything obvious that didn't sit well with you?
I would say the fighting scene.
Oh, just the whole spaceship scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shin, whatever her name is, it looked like she was just told, look creepy. And that's all she did.
Yeah, but
like all she
I
did.
feel like she's a believable actress still, even though, I mean...
Yeah, there was 4 too many shots of her looking creepy into the camera.
Yes. Oh, into the camera.
And yeah, it was just odd. I thought that was strange. Now, on to something that I loved. Absolutely loved. I would take a full episode of this if I could get it. The whole New Republic with Chancellor Mon Mothma and Hera and debating on whether or not to track down these leads and divert resources.
Yeah.
And that politics bores a lot of people in Star Wars. That's one of the reasons why I love the prequels, is because of the politics. And Andor as well. We saw a lot of that. But in this episode, we got to see on full display the beginnings of the cracking of the foundations of the New Republic, the corruption that's starting to seep in, and also the complacency. They're not tracking down those leads because, they won. The Empire is scattered.
Yeah.
What can they do without a leader? And we got to see some of that. And of course, there's the argument of whether or not this is going to lead to the sequels, and people are going to complain about that either way. But just to see that in this episode was really, really cool. And I liked that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I think is going to get a lot of hate, and you probably already know what this is, Sabine in this episode. Speak your mind on that.
Yeah. I mean, okay. With Sabine and her short hair, I liked it better long, but I can have an understanding of why she cut it to kind of look similar to season 5.
Yeah,
season
and
4,
also the
sorry,
continuity
season 4.
for the ending of season 4.
Yeah.
Because we got that scene basically shot for shot
Yeah.
in the last 2 episodes.
I'm just thankful that they didn't have her master the Force.
Move the cup.
Move the cup.
Move the cup,
I'm
yeah.
so glad that cup didn't move.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would have been too cheesy and too fast.
And so the thing that caught me off guard, that I was not okay with at the beginning, and I'm coming around to it and kind of theorizing, making it work in my own head, when some can argue that you shouldn't have to try to make it make sense. But Sabine using the Force in the first place. And we kind of touched on last week how different species in Star Wars have different midichlorian counts and natural abilities in the Force, aside from mind control or actually moving things with your mind.
Yeah, that took
exemplified in reaction times, jumping ability, that sort of stuff.
That took me off guard as well.
Yeah, so Sabine is not a Jedi. As far as we're aware, she didn't have any Force powers to begin with in Rebels or any other where that we've seen her. So that caught me off guard, thinking like, oh, what, great, now just anyone can learn the Force, right? And then as I started thinking about it, I believe George Lucas's intention was that the Force goes through all living things. And so in theory, if you are connected well enough with the Force and you grow that connection, you can grow that connection with the Force. And I don't know how that plays out in terms of, can anyone use the Force? I'm inclined to believe the answer is no. But that begs the question.
And if that's the case, I could see it being a lot more difficult for her to master it, just because of all the
or even use it. Yeah,
she's using too much of her emotion. She so badly wants to use the Force that it's affecting her ability to. But I agree, it's just kind of strange. And
so another thing I was thinking of, you remember Chirrut Imwe from Rogue One, the blind guy?
Yes.
Would you say that he was, he had a connection with the Force? Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's blind and he can shoot down ships and,
you
know, I'm one with the Force is with me, whatever.
Yeah.
He said. So he is, in the kind of a general umbrella term, a Force user, right?
Yeah.
He has that natural connection with the Force. And so the question that I was contemplating in my head, if he really devoted himself to fostering that connection with the Force, could he use the Force to move objects? I think the answer is yes. Right? He has the natural ability, and if he dedicated himself to that, I'm sure he could use that. And obviously not ever to the level of an Obi-Wan or Count Dooku or some of the established Force users, but still, it's a muscle that you have to train. And I think Chirrut would be a pretty good candidate for someone who was not a Force wielder to learn that ability. Now, if he did learn something like that, and now we're talking about Sabine, well, let's kind of equate their natural affinity for the Force to each other, right? Let's say it's about the same. Maybe he's spent more time dwelling in the Force. Spend more time being blind. Yeah, and she just barely put on the visor.
Yeah.
She's so new at it. But let's say they have roughly the same natural affinity for the Force. He spent a little bit more time developing it, which is why he's blind and he can do the things and fighting and all that sort of stuff. Sabine uses that without knowing it in her fighting and a little bit of athleticism. But if she fosters that, I think the same as Chirrut, that she could use the Force. And I think we're going to see that.
I think
it's pretty obvious we're going to see that by the end of the season.
Yeah.
What I do not want is for her to pick it up really quick.
That's exactly what
or do anything over the top. Like if she were to
kind of like Rey.
Grab a ship and
Rey,
hold it down. Kind of like Rey, exactly. If she were to just grab a ship and pull it down from the sky, or someone's about to get crushed and she lifts like a giant, 10,000 ton building off of someone, something major like that.
I think what's going to happen in the future is, with this training of, you may not be able to see and you'll have to fight without being able to see. I think something like that's going to happen.
You think she's going to go blind just like Kanan? You get slashed across the eyes?
No, but I mean, maybe she'll be unable to, maybe there's going to be
smoke
or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're setting the little gumdrops along the path, and then we'll pick them up later. Yeah. But all that to say, at first, this episode did not hit me well, because I was like, great, they're giving out Force powers to anyone.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm like, in theory, sure.
Yeah.
And those kind of peripheral force abilities, athleticism, combat, maybe mild telekinesis, moving things with your mind, suggestions, not like outright mind control, but suggestions, because there's different levels of force abilities, things that take different years to master.
Freeze. Look at me.
Okay. Another thing that I really like so far is Hu Yang. As a droid, he's really cool, and I'm very glad that they're able to make new droids. He's not just a copy of C-3PO or K-2SO, he's kind of like a blend of them, but he's his own person. And then if you imagine all the droids that we've gotten to know over the last, couple decades, they're all very different. They have their different personalities, and Hu Yang, I think, is really cool. I know he's from the Clone Wars. We haven't watched all the way through the Clone Wars yet. We will get around to it. He is, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we'll get around to that. And it was really cool to see him training Sabine in the beginning, and I liked how his little light things showed her hits and misses.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. What do you think? What do you think of Jason Syndulla?
I mean, after just rewatching
the last couple episodes of Rebels,
I don't know. I think his hair could have. He could have had a.
Yeah, you said it looked like.
It looked like someone just spray painted. Spray painted his head. He's supposed to have like green eyebrows too. I don't. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it. I'll have to rewatch it.
It kind of reminded me of Jack from Jack and Daxter. Remember Jack and Daxter? Comment below if you remember Jack and Daxter. I played that game so much.
Oh, it's a game.
It's a video game, Jack and Daxter.
Maybe
You're lost.
I'm lost.
No. Comment below if you know that.
Sorry.
As far as Jason, we didn't see a whole lot of him, so
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It was not. I'm glad they put him in there because we were all questioning.
Yeah, we
whether
were wondering
we were
like where
I'm glad
was
they showed
he?
him because.
Yeah. I was beginning to think maybe they retconned her having Jason in the first place.
Oh no! Yeah,
that would be kind of awful. Yeah. But he was in there, so we'll see if he pops up and to what role he ends up playing. We'll see. Do you think maybe they are using the Purgle in some way for their hyperspace ring? Or I think they established they were using those 7 hyperdrives.
Yeah, I don't think... I don't know. I think they purposely planted their contraption.
Their ring.
Yeah.
Next to where the Purgle goes.
Yeah.
Because of the intergalaxy hyperspace lanes. Because that's where the Purgle go. So that's where the travel is. So
yeah.
Of course, that's where the Purgle are. And that's also where they would leave.
I think that was really neat. Sorry, speaking of those, I thought that was really neat seeing them in live action. I mean... Yeah,
the Purgle?
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
neat.
because we saw the silhouette of it, I believe, in Mando Season 3 when they were in hyperspace. Remember that in the background? Now we actually got to see them. They're actually way bigger
than
I remember. Yeah. And in Rebels, now that I think about it, it latched onto the Star Destroyer. So they're huge.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're a lot bigger than it clicked in my head. So that's kind of all we had to talk about. One last little point. I don't know that I'm having fun watching this show yet. Maybe because I'm analyzing it too much and I'm kind of hearing people complain about it so much. But I feel like it's harder for me to have fun with this one. I don't know. And we're
just in the 3rd episode. It's kind of one of those filler ones. I'm hoping we'll get more into it as they bring in more
characters and different plots and subplots, and we'll see where the whole direction is going. All of that to say, I can see how some people are going to absolutely try to destroy this episode in pure hate and say it's the worst thing ever. I can also see how a lot of people really liked it, and that's just unfortunately the state of Star Wars right now. Everything is polarizing. There's nothing that the showrunners can do about that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Just an extra side note. I actually thought it was pretty funny what Shin, her little spicy comeback.
Said to Elsbeth? Yeah, after congratulations.
She's
you
like...
almost got her.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah,
Morgan
you're right.
had said, Morgan had said,
Yeah.
wow, I'm
I
surprised.
thought-
I'm surprised you let them come this far. And then so later on, she kind of had that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I thought that was funny.
I almost thought we were gonna get a Leia Poppins with Ahsoka.
Oh, that's the part that was kind of unsettling.
Yeah,
to me,
and I'm okay with
it's
it.
Whatever.
It's pretty cool. We got to see a little bit of Ahsoka acrobatics because that's her fighting
thing,
style.
yeah.
So thought that was cool. That's our analysis. I think we went pretty long here,
Yeah.
but get ready for some of the shorter little analysis videos. I'll kind of condense what we were talking about here into those little videos. But if you are new here, welcome. Appreciate it. If you've been here from the very beginning, we really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you,
And we will see you.
wherever we happen to see you in the galaxy.